Welcome to RotoWire's fantasy football draft season, sponsored by Circa Millions. Here are players to target in the middle and late rounds of your fantasy football drafts. Running back, we'll go with Isiah Pacheco, Kansas City Chiefs, going outside the top 25 running backs. Last year was terrible. Pacheco broke his leg. Look, his 3.7 yards per carry, 3.4 yards per carry after the injury. Of course, he was never going to be right because he was off his leg for multiple months. Fantasy managers are holding that against him, and that is a mistake. Yes, Pacheco is a very violent runner who does take on contact, but his cost in drafts is not like last year when he was just going outside the top 12 running backs. Different story. Pacheco averaged 15.4 PPR points per game in 2023, and he is the lead running back in the Kansas City offense. Defenses will always defend the pass. That means Pacheco will always have free yards to run. Definite value. Next, Tony Pollard, Tennessee Titans. Remember that Pollard had 1,079 yards and 5 touchdowns behind a terrible offensive line in Tennessee last year? Well, guess what? That offensive line is probably going to be significantly better. They bring in 2 veterans to help. Last year's free agent signing at center was a bit beat up. He should be better this year. And the 2 former first-round draft picks the Titans invested in have some experience. This could be a good line. Yes, Tyjae Spears is in the mix, but Tony Pollard is a very versatile, very good running back, 68th percentile yards after contact. I expect Pollard to get at least 65% of the work, and you're getting him outside the top 25 running backs for a running back who could finish around running back 20. Next, Tank Bigsby, Jacksonville Jaguars. People are sleeping on Bigsby. He was very, very good last year. 96th percentile yards after contact, 80th percentile broken tackle rate. He was really good from weeks 4 to 8. He did tail off a bit, but here's the thing. Yes, Travis Etienne is being said to get the shot at being the lead back, and Bashal Tutin was drafted, and I get all that. Even though Bigsby only weighs 213 pounds, he runs like a big back between the tackles. And that is what the Jaguars lack, and that is what the Jaguars need. Tank Bigsby will be able to take on that role. He will be effective. Coach Liam Cohen did wonders with the Tampa Bay running game last year, and I think Bigsby is the best fit to play that role that we saw from Bucky Irving last year. Wide receiver values, Josh Downs. You're getting him outside the top 45 wide receivers in many drafts. Josh Downs, 2 years in the league. Last year, he did miss 3 games, 800 yards. That was with terrible quarterback play, and yes, that won't change. But that's the point. Josh Downs is proven in 2 years in the league. He's been very, very productive. He's quarterback proof. So whether it's Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, Downs plays in the slot. He plays over 75% of the time. He was targeted on 29.4% of his routes. That's the 3rd most in the league after Puka Nacua and Malik Neighbors. He is a target magnet when he's on the field. He scored, Josh Downs did 9 in 14 games, double-digit PPR points. So that floor is very, very solid. He will have ceiling games. But yes, Josh Downs, quarterback proof. Next, Keon Colemen of the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, it was a disappointing rookie year, 556 yards and 4 touchdowns, only 29 catches. But I want you to know this. From weeks 4 through 8, as a rookie, he began to come on. In that stretch, Coleman averaged 64 yards, 0.4 of a touchdown, and 5 targets. And then he had a wrist injury, and he did come back. But we found out later it was a chipped bone in his wrist. Coleman was never right the rest of the year. Look for Coleman to build on that week 4 to 8 success from last year as the lead outside receiver for Josh Allen and the high-powered Buffalo Bills. Next, we have Christian Kirk, now with the Houston Texans. And yes, Kirk has durability issues, but you're getting him outside the top 50 receivers. He's missed 14 games in the last 2 years, so yes, it is an issue. But when Kirk is on the field, even in a toxic Jacksonville offense last year, in his last 6 games, he averaged 11 PPR points. In 4 of those 6 games, at least 59 yards. Now he plays with C.J. Stroud. We saw last year C.J. Stroud had Stephon Diggs on a 1,000-yard pace before Diggs just tore his ACL. Kirk comes over, should be the lead slot receiver, right in that role. Excellent quarterback, strong offense. Christian Kirk, when he's healthy, is going to be a great contributor. The Circa Million and Circa Survivor are back with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. The Circa Million, you pick 5 games against the spread each week, 18 weeks of action, 126 ways to win, $1 million dollars guaranteed for the winner, and $6 million overall guaranteed. The Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no point spread. You last the longest and win it all, at least $15 million guaranteed. You enter in Nevada, you play from anywhere, $21 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com for details. All right, a couple quarterbacks as you're waiting on them. Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys, could get him around quarterback 9 in drafts. Prescott's had 3 healthy seasons in 2019, 2021, 2023. These are recent. He was the quarterback 2, the quarterback 3, and the quarterback 7. The other 2 seasons, injuries, some ineffectiveness. Prescott has the best receiving trio of his career. CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson. The running game, probably not going to be sustaining. The defense, a lot of injuries. Dallas will have to throw. Dak Prescott is more than able to carry your fantasy team. Justin Fields, New York Jets, brought over for a 2-year deal. Justin Fields is expected to do what he does best, run the football. In Chicago, 15 games in 2022, 1,143 yards. We don't see rushing production from a quarterback position like that. 2023, Fields missed 4 games. He was on pace for 860 yards. Look for him to be turned back loose in New York as a running quarterback. We know that is the cheat code in fantasy football. Tight ends, Jake Ferguson, Dallas Cowboys. 2 years ago, Ferguson, 761 yards, 102 targets, 5 touchdowns, a breakout season. Last year, not good. Why? Because Dak Prescott missed more than half the season. But when Prescott was on the field for 7 games, Ferguson went over 70 yards 3 times, went over 11.9 PPR points 4 times, and now George Pickens opens up the field, more space underneath. Dak Prescott has always loved his tight end to throw the football to. Jonnu Smith, people are sleeping on him since the trade. Now he's in Pittsburgh. Everybody's out on him. And yes, he'll never match that 884 yards and 8 touchdowns he had with the Dolphins last year. But did you know, 2 years ago, Jonnu Smith was the tight end 2 in Atlanta behind Kyle Pitts, playing for Arthur Smith. In that role, Jonnu Smith, 582 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 72 targets, again as the number 2. He's in Pittsburgh now. He'll be the tight end 1 over Pat Freiermuth. The receivers, they have DK Metcalf, nice intermediate downfield threat. Jonnu Smith could go back to seeing a lot of catch and run opportunities because Pittsburgh really lacks wide receiver firepower beyond Metcalf. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to enter the Circa Million and Circa Survivor contest with a massive $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You go to circasports.com for details.